Your girl Sherece L coming at you. Um, all liberties reserved, y'all. I just wanted to touch on some things um, in regards to astrology and cosmology. I was going over some things with a few individuals that I've been tutoring as of late. Peace and love to the fam. I see y'all. Peace and love, y'all. But yeah, I want to go over some things that I've been going over with some individuals that has been recently hitting me up. And, one of the questions that I would get is pertaining to Western astrology. Is it better to deal with Western or the Vedic astrology? Shouldn't we be dealing with Tibetan astrology because, they kept all the records and stuff like that. They have a better catalog. There's a whole bunch of different opinions about it, but one opinion that stuck to me that I know it needs to be corrected. It just does. The opinion was in reference to Western astrology belonging to the modern European. And the fact of the matter is, once again, here we go as a people giving credit where the credit don't belong. Okay? When you're dealing with Western astrology, what you're doing is you're dealing with the ancient wheel of life. Okay, that's what Zodakayas represents, the wheel of life, the cycle that we continuously go through when traversing on this earth plane. All right, that wheel of life is archaic. Like it cannot even be dated. But again, with astrologics, the true religion of the planet, okay, bits and pieces of our culture and traditions has been altered somewhat in various degrees depending upon the nation that you're speaking about. But at the end of the day, it's all giving the same result. It's all delivering the same message. All right. So when it comes to dealing with Western astrology, people really need to stop giving that to the modern European. We are within the Western hemisphere, therefore the Western astrology is really ancient to us as Almoraccans here in Northwestern Maxim, okay, with our ancestral estate being all of the Americas. All right, so you can go back and look on different artifacts, cave drawings, cave depictions, where they would give you a real detailed explanation about the wheel of life. Okay, this is it's the oldest, it's one of the oldest sciences on the face of the planet. Okay, and again, just because you see the modern European utilizing it doesn't mean that it's theirs. Stop associating Western, like for instance, another example, Western medicine, right? They attribute Western medicine to be modern European, but in actuality, what should be defined as Western medicine, it would be Almoracan holistic health. You know what I mean? Where we're dealing with nature and where we come up with these different concoctions of herbal rituals to heal people. That's honestly what Western medicine is, understanding our traditional customs. You see, but when it comes to the pharmaceutical arena, during via masses and all of that, via media and everything, they would associate Western medicine to be pharmaceutical, which is a modern construct. It's not ancient or one of our customs. So essentially what I'm saying is that with the Western astrology, people have the same concept. They would think that Western astrology is dealing with modern European interpretations, and that's not the case. Okay, you're dealing with your own science, your own ancient science. Okay, now there's a couple of differences between Western astrology and Vedic astrology that I want to put on the table. All right, so let me hold on a sec. Let me just turn this around for you. Okay, so here you go. Here's my trusty board. All right, my trusty board that I have here. All right, hold on. So we have the Western astrology, And then you have what is the Eastern astrology. Well, you know what, first, before I draw that, before I even draw that, what I do want to get into is understanding how to hone in on different aspects, the details of your chart. Okay, this is what I'm going to talk about for a little bit. One way in Eastern astrology or Vedic astrology, because well, I should be more specific. The northern, there's two different Vedic astrologies. You have they separate it, like how they separate Egypt, they separate Indian astrology. So you have like the north and the south versions of Vedic astrology. So really it's all relative, but my prime focus here is to show you guys how you can hone into the details with the details of an aspect within your chart. Okay, so in Eastern astrology, or what is Vedic astrology, just put Eastern, right? They have something. They have the 12 signs of the zodiac, but they also speak of the constellations that are behind the zodiac, known as Nakshatras. Nakshatras. Right? And then they further go in detail within these constellations, and they divide each constellation into something known as Prada, something like that, something to that effect. Forgive me for my poor Indie language pronunciation, but essentially what they're doing is with the zodiac constellations, right? With the zodiac constellations, what they do is they go behind the 12 zodiacs constellations in the sky, and they'll tell you what constellations lie behind the 27 constellations which lie behind the 12 zodiac constellations as we know it. And then they'll go further into detail by telling you about the energy that lies behind those constellations. Okay? So essentially, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about, how they hone in on the details of your chart. They're looking at the energy, not only that the 12 constellations would provide, but also the ones that are behind it. Okay? Now, Western astrology does the same thing. Okay? This right here is the main reason why people would gravitate more towards the Eastern astrology than the Western astrology, because they assume that the Eastern astrology doesn't go in detail like this. But I'm going to prove to you that it does. Okay? Once I'm going over this again because I want our people to really understand that our sciences, when it comes to what our ancestors left for us on this side, is not something that should be thrown away. Nothing, you should never throw the baby out with the bathwater, is essentially what I'm saying. Okay? But if you don't study enough to find, if you don't study enough and research enough, you'll make the mistake of throwing away things in which you shouldn't, So, here we go. So now what I'm going to show you is a more detailed aspect looking at your astrological chart via the Western way of interpretation. All right, so now you know well, you should know. If you don't know, please inbox me. I'll be more than happy to go over a one-on-one session with you in regards to and being able to interpret your chart. Okay, so let's just do it like this. All right, so that's the wheel. Everyone should know that this wheel represents, it can be scaled at various degrees. You can look at this from a from a daily standpoint. Okay, when you're dealing with the 24 hours, right? That's dealing with your daily horoscope, right? You can look at this on a yearly view, dealing with the 365 days, right? Or the 12 solar months and 13 lunar months, right? Or you can look at this from a great year standpoint. And the great year encompasses each sign within, when you're calculating a great year, equates to 2,160 years. This is the amount of time that it takes the our solar system to go all the way around the Milky Way. Okay, so each sign. All right, so you got your daily interpretation, your yearly, and your great year. All right, and again, it all depends upon what degree of time you're speaking about when you're looking at your chart to really interpret certain things. When you're dealing within typically when you're dealing with Western astrology, they will tell you about your solar, but you definitely want to get in tune with your lunar months so that you can really balance out everything. Everything is about a yin and yang. Okay, this is why I tell people that the sun is your father, the moon is your mother. You want to be in harmony with both. All right, it's not a choice of either or. It is both cycles that you should be on and be able to interpret. All right, again, I made a video about this. It's on my channel, Renowned Royalty, where I go over how you can plot the movement of the sun and the moon, and you can even sync your own calendar. I may make another video about that. I might do that, but anywho, okay, so back to the detailing, right? Within one sign, well, let me just go over the basic mathematics. When you're dealing with the circle, a circle, or the zodiac is comprised of what is known as 360 degrees. Okay, 360 degrees divided into 12 equal portions of 30 degrees. Okay, now each of these 30 degrees equates to 30 days. Okay, which would equal a month. Okay, so now you got the circle represented, which encompasses 30 degrees. 360 degrees. Those 60 degrees is divided into 12 equal portions of 30 degrees, and 30 degrees equates to 30 days, which is represented as a month. All right, now as far as getting deeper into the detailing, you have these 30 days or degrees that are divided into 10 equal portions of known as decans. So now what this is telling you is that each sign is divided into 3. So this 10 degrees here would be known as the first decant. This would be 20 degrees here in the sign. That's the second. And then 30 degrees moving into the next sign. That will be known as the third decant. Okay. Once again, the first 10 degrees, first decant, 0 to 10 degrees, first decant, 10 to 20 degrees, second decant, 20 degrees to 30 degrees, that's the third decant. All right. So now when you hear something, say when you're looking at your chart and they tell you that your sun, you have a Cancer sun, right? You have a Cancer sun. That is 19 degrees, 19 minutes, right? You have a sun. That's how when you're reading your natal chart, you'll get something like this. Or they'll tell you, you have a Scorpio. They'll tell you you have a Scorpio Venus, 2 degrees, 29 minutes, right? That's how you would see the planets being listed as far as their placements within the heavens when you're looking at your zodiac, your cosmological chart, right? So now what I'm going to show you is how you can go into the details to find the energy behind it. It's the same way you can go into the Eastern astrology and find what energy is masked behind it. Okay. So we're gonna come back to this. So now each decant has its own quality of the same element within a sign. What does that mean? Okay. You have Aries. Aries is a cardinal, what is known as a cardinal fire. It is the initial fire. It is the starter. Okay? Right? You have 3 modes of, I should break that down. You have 3 modes of qualities with these signs. Cardinal, fixed, mutable. Most people know this. Cardinal, fixed, and mutable. Right? Aries, as an example, starts off with cardinal fire. All right? So the sign itself, essentially, for the first 10 degrees is going to be cardinal fire. Aries being ruled by Mars, that is the energy that is going to be emitted strongly for the first 10 degrees of that sign. Okay? The next 10 degrees, you're going to have that fire, that cardinal fire, move into a fixed state, what is known as a fixed state, fixed fire. All right? Fixed fire is represented by Leo. So for the next for the next 10 degrees, you're going to have a fixed fire energy, which is being pushed by the sun. Because the sun is who rules Leo. Okay? I'm sorry, I don't like writing out the planets. I rather use the sigils or the glyphs, just so that I can get people more accustomed to visually being able to read this. So if you see me not write out things, I want you guys to really get used to the signs and the symbols, because that's what the prophet instructed us that we would learn from. We would learn via signs and symbols. So there'll be something in here that you may see in your daily routine, and it'll trigger something to you just off of the symbol, or the glyph that you see. So that's why I really like to get whomever I tutor accustomed to the signs. All right. Somebody asked me why I don't write it out. It's like, why write it out when you can abbreviate with it? But anywho, so now the next 10 degrees is going to be, of course, the mutable fire. Okay, and the mutable fire is represented by Sagittarius. So when people say When people claim that, you know, when people think that one sign has only one ruler, they're really mistaken. They don't have one ruler. They really have three. Because just off of the element, you're going to have some form of effect from the other signs of that element impact you. All right? And I just broke it down to you with the decans. All right? We can do another one just as an example, you know, just to go a little bit further into it. So like for Aquarius, Aquarius is known as a fixed air sign, right? So for the first 10 degrees of Aquarius, you're going to get a fixed air quality, which is ruled by Saturn. Some people will tell you it's ruled by Uranus, which is true, is co-ruled. Uranus is the higher octave of Saturn. However, you know, just dealing with the seven inner planets, you know, this is why we our ancestors spoke about the Most High. When they speak about the Most High, what they're really speaking about is Saturn, because that was the planet that we can see the farthest with the naked eye. All right, so that's when we say, you know, in the Bible, when it's referring to the Most High, they're really speaking of Saturn. And then, you know, you get some kind of, you kind of get into the sickos who wants to turn it into a satanic doctrine. But that's a whole other story. All right, so now you have Saturn ruling fixed air for the first 10 degrees. Okay. Or you can say co-rule with Uranus. So the energy of Uranus is what's going to be emitted for the first 10 degrees strongly. Then after that, the order, you always want to remember this order, is going to be cardinal, fixed, mutable, cardinal, fixed, mutable. If you start at cardinal, the next sign is going to be fixed. If you start to be mutable. If you start immutable, the next sign is going to be cardinal. All right. So when you're starting here with a fixed air, the next sign is going to be a mutable air. Okay. And what is ruled by mutable air? Mercury. Okay. So the energy of Mercury is going to be emitted for the next 10 degrees. All right. Then after mutable air transit out, you're going to get your cardinal air for the last 10 degrees. And cardinal air is represented by Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. All right. So here I'm just showing you how you can go into detail via Western ASTRO-LOGICS. Okay. Now I'm not trying to let me just turn this. All right, so no knock on anybody who follows Vedic astrology, but the fact of the matter is all the energy is the same. Within both interpretations, you will see the energy fold on itself. All right. If you want to go through the hassle of going through every single constellation within our sky, our known sky, seeing that it's a vast universe of impossibilities. Okay. If you want to go through every constellation to find out what energy lies behind it, that's your choice. But our ancestors already laid it out to you how this plane of existence operates. It operates in a mode of 3. Okay? A mode of 3 on a scale of 7. If you understand the science. That's a whole other thing. Okay? So, but a mode of 3 on a scale of 7. All right? So now, dealing with anything, you're going to have those three modes or those 3 phases presents itself to you. You're going to have a beginning, a middle, an end. You're going to have a past, present, and future. Okay? You're going to have a left, center, and a right. You see what I mean? Mother, father, child. There's always a principle of 3. Always a principle of 3 on a scale of 7. And understand we vibrate on 7. All right? So, yeah, with that, I'm going to just sign off. I just wanted to touch on that, and hopefully, you know, those who do follow me with Astrologics, they really get to hone in on what it is that I just depicted here. Rewind it, play it back, and I hope it assisted you in some way. All right, so with that, I'm gonna just wrap this up. Peace and love, y'all. Islam.